The Telltale Heart. Absolutely floored. "Hi, honey. I'm home," Shining called out to Cadence as he set down his helm by the front door of the castle. He waited to hear his wife give him a usual shout back, or for her to canter to the front door, throw her hooves around him, and give him a kiss, but for the first time in their marriage that he could remember, she didn't do so. Honey?" He waited again this time, and after a moment, he heard a frantic scrabbling of hooves and a few noises that sounded vaguely distressed. He looked down the hall, concerned.
Just a moment, dear,"
he finally heard Cadence call down from the hall. "Okay," he said hesitantly. Shining listened as there was a distant crash of wood and then silence. "Is everything okay?
Yeah.
Do you want me to come help you with something, or…"
No.
He fell silent again and was just about to venture down the hall when he heard the sound of Cadence clearing her throat. Then her voice came once more, far more sweetly this time.
Sorry, honey. Welcome home. Come back to the parlor. I was just, napping.
That was strange. She didn't tend to nap while watching the baby, but maybe Flurry Heart had been lenient on her today. The child had been up all night with severe colic, and the screaming had reached levels where Shining was pretty sure that he'd found bloodstains from his ears on the pillow that morning. Now, though, as he listened, he couldn't hear any unrepentant shrieking, so that was at least an improvement. No wonder Cadence was acting strange. He trotted down the hall to the left and then walked into the parlor to find the pink love princess sitting there, with an exhausted, twitchy smile on her face. She was holding a cup of tea in her hooves, and it clattered softly against the saucer as she took an overly loud sip.
Hi there, dear. So, how was work?
She said, her voice mostly calm but cracking at the edges like an old photograph. And Shining raised an eyebrow. "It was fine. Is everything okay?"
Oh, never better.
She chirped back, far too quickly. "Okay." Shining walked over to the plush chair opposite Cadence and sat down, studying her face. Something was definitely wrong here, but everything looked fine in the room. Shining glanced around, but there was no sign of anything that would have made the crash noise, and the furniture seemed to be in good order.
But yes, your day, so how was it?
She asked again, almost sounding desperate. It was fine, like I said."
Of course, yes, very good.
She nodded thoroughly and took another sip of her tea. "Cadence," Shining said slowly, reaching out to pat the back of one of her trembling hooves. "What's going on?"
Nothing at all is going on,
she said as she snatched her hooves away.
Why would you think that anything is going on? What exactly are you accusing me of? I'm a princess, you know, and that means diplomatic immunity, and also, we're married, and so spousal privileges applies, and so, even if I did do something, which I didn't, you wouldn't be able to turn me in. Nothing would happen to me, so there.
Shining blinked at his wife and put his hooves back in his own lap. "Honey," he said haltingly, "you're the princess of love, not the princess of lying, so why don't you just tell me—"
Lying? Who's lying?
Cadence was practically shouting at that point.
If anyone is lying, then you're lying. I know you drank all that milk and then put it back into the fridge, and you told me that I must have done that, so really, who's the liar here, huh?
"Will you keep it down?" Shining hissed. "We don't want to wake the baby." As he uttered those words, he immediately fell back into silence. The wheels in his head had turned, and he had a sense of foreboding. Cadence was smiling weakly at him, looking back and forth as if she was afraid that the Canterlot Secret Service was going to bust in at any moment and start a coup. "Cadence," Shining said, his voice flat. "Okay, where's the baby?"
What baby?
Cadence said in a full yell, her smile never wavering. "Our baby? Flurry Heart? The crown princess of the Crystal Kingdom?"
Well, I'm the princess of the Crystal Kingdom.
I mean the other one.
Haven't you ever wondered how that works anyway? I mean, shouldn't I be a queen by now, given the circumstances? If you really think about how our politics work—
Cadence.
There is no baby! There was never any baby!
Cadence blurted out, tears suddenly springing from her eyes, although she continued to grin mechanically.
You're just gonna have to accept that there's no such thing as babies. Babies are a myth, and anyone who told you that otherwise is just—
Cadence trailed off as there was the sound of a soft giggle from beneath their feet. Shining slowly looked down at the floor, then back up at his wife. He opened his mouth, closed it, then opened it again. "Honey," he said, his voice hollow. why is the floor here a different wood than the rest of the floor?
I remodeled.
You remodeled?
Of course. You see, I...
Cadence is our child under the floorboards. With that, Shining saw Cadence's resolve crumble and she began to cry open, loud sobs. He watched, utterly and completely baffled, as she dropped the teacup to the floor with a shattering crash and fell onto her knees on the floor.
Okay, I admit the deed,
she wailed.
Fine, I buried our child alive under the floor. Are you happy now? What?
As he sat there dumbfounded, Cadence began to use both her magic and her hooves to begin to toss away the area rug and tear back the hardwood with shattering, splintering cracks.
It was just that she started crying a day ago and she just wouldn't stop. And I tried rocking her, I sang to her, I acted out Star Trek episodes Next Gen Not Original Series, I made her food, I ate her food for her, I gave her deep tissue massage, I made her a martini, but nothing would help, and so I just figured people sleep when you bury them. Sure, they sleep forever, but at least they sleep. And I tried in a flower pot, but that just made a mess, so I thought, hey, this floor is kind of like ground, so I can bury her there.
Cadence reached into the growing hole in the floorboards and lifted out the quite happy, well-swaddled baby pony who looked from her to Shining, smiling and cooing softly all the while. Shining's mouth hung open as he watched and listened, speechless.
I'm a terrible, terrible mother,
Cadence went on, her words choked by tears.
But I don't have enough help here, and I really think that this isn't my fault. You have no idea how bad it's been for me. If I had better support, a nanny who didn't steal all of our silverware, if I'd actually read those motherhood books that you gave me rather than using them as coasters, and if I'd bonded with the little creature even once besides when she latched onto my boob, which feels super uncomfortable by the way, she's a damn piranha some days, then this wouldn't have happened at all. I just need support, love, and a little more learning and it'll be fine, right? Right?
Shining opened his hooves as she pushed the baby into his arms. He cradled the infant as tears began to fill his own eyes. He bit his lower lip and looked back up to his wife, trying to find his voice. She sat there before him on the floor, sniffling hard, looking so sad, so sorry, and so afraid. It was like he was seeing her for the first time. You know, I think you're right, he gently said at last, holding Flurry close to him. Cadence looked up to meet his eyes, and she sniffed, and at the corner of her lips wavered a hesitant, hopeful smile.
Really?
Yeah. You really are a terrible mother.